How did a tiny heart tattoo joke turn into me getting served papers in a public building lobby while my husband stood there calm? What kind of man kicks his wife out the same day, then stays perfectly legal and still wins in the open? Why did everyone cheer for me online, right before the consequences landed in my hands? My name is Melisande Carter, and I always said I knew how to keep a room awake. I worked the front desk at a dental office. I booked cleanings, fixed cancellations, and smiled on command. People thought that made me polite. It did not. It made me fast. That Friday started like any other. I woke up, checked my face, and checked my phone. I had a message from Logan. He was my ex, but he never liked that word. He had asked if I still remembered the old me. I told myself it was harmless. I told myself it was just nostalgia. I also told myself my husband, Ethan, had been acting like a rulebook for months. Ethan had asked me a week before if I could stop testing him. He said he was tired. He asked why every joke had to be sharp. I said he was too sensitive and that life was not a courtroom. He said he wanted peace. I said peace was for people who did not have ambition. Even now, I still think I was right. At lunch, my best friend Sloane texted me about a new tattoo place. She said the artist was good and quick. She asked if I wanted to come after work. I said yes, because I did not want to go home and sit in Ethan's quiet mood. Sloane also said it could be a funny stunt. She said a small joke could reset the power in my marriage. I liked the way she said power like it was a normal need. After work, I met Sloane and Nina outside the studio. The place smelled like disinfectant and sweet soap. The walls had clean drawings and bold lines. I acted like I was not nervous. I said I could handle a little pain. Nina asked what I was getting. I said it was something small and cute. Sloane asked if I was doing it for myself or for the story. I said both. I did not plan it in the morning. That is the part I used later to defend myself. But when I sat down and the artist asked what I wanted, I thought of Logan's name. I thought of how Ethan never looked jealous. I thought of how he always looked tired instead. It made me feel less wanted. That was my excuse. It was also my reason. The artist asked if I was sure. I said yes, and I asked for a simple heart next to the name. Sloane laughed and said it was perfect. Nina held my phone up like she was filming a cooking video. She asked if I wanted a before and after. I said yes. I told myself it was just ink. I told myself Ethan would learn to relax. While the needle moved, I looked at my phone again. Logan sent a laughing emoji and asked what I was up to. I replied that I was doing something funny. I sent him a blurred photo of the bandage. I told him it was for a joke. He replied that I always had courage. That word hit me in a soft spot. Ethan had not called me brave in a long time. Ethan called me responsible when I paid bills on time. It was not the same. When it was done, I felt proud. The bandage was small, and the swelling made it look even smaller. Sloane said it was iconic. Nina said we had to go out right away, so it felt like a real moment. I told myself I deserved a night out. I also told myself Ethan had kicked me out emotionally first by being cold. That is how my mind works. I build steps behind me so I can pretend the fall was planned. We went to a rooftop bar. The music was loud and the air was cold. People leaned close and laughed too hard. I liked the feeling of being watched. Sloane asked if I was going to tell Ethan tonight. I said I would show him. Nina asked if we should film the reaction. I said it could be funny. I said he always acted like he was above drama, so maybe he needed some. Sloane posted a photo of our drinks. Nina posted a clip of me smiling and pointing at the bandage. I knew Ethan followed Nina, but I told myself it did not matter. I told myself a confident man would not care. When someone asked whose name it was, I said it was an old joke from my past. I said Ethan would laugh when he saw it, because he knew I was playful. That was not true, but it sounded good out loud. Near midnight, I checked my phone and saw a missed call from Ethan. I did not call back. Sloane asked why I looked tense. I said Ethan was probably checking on me like a parent. Sloane said he needed to stop treating me like a child. I nodded. I liked hearing that. I wanted my choices to be admired, not questioned. When I got home, the driveway light was on. Ethan's car was there, parked straight, like always. I walked in with my jacket still on. The house felt too quiet after the bar. Ethan stood near the kitchen counter. He did not shout. He did not throw anything. He just looked at me like he was measuring distance. Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible stories. He asked where I'd been. I said I was out with friends. He asked why I did not answer his call. I said my phone was on silent. He looked at my arm and asked what happened. I lifted my sleeve on purpose, like a reveal on a stage. He asked what it said. I said it was a joke. He asked whose name it was. I said it was from my past, and that it did not mean anything. He asked why there was a heart. I said the heart was the joke part. I said he was making it serious for no reason. I said he always tried to control my body. He asked if I thought it was respectful. I said respect was not about rules, it was about love. I said love should allow humor. He asked if I wanted to humiliate him. I said he was humiliating himself by reacting. He asked if I was recording him. I said no, even though my phone was in my hand and Nina's clip was already online. He took a slow breath. He asked me to sit and talk without phones. I said he was not my boss. He said he was not asking as a boss, he was asking as my husband. I said a husband should not act like a teacher. I said he was being dramatic over ink. I told him if he was more confident, he would not care. He looked down for a moment, then looked back up. He asked me to leave for the night. I laughed because it sounded like a fake threat. I said he could not kick me out of my own home. He did not argue with me. He walked to the hallway closet, pulled out a travel bag, and set it on the floor. He asked me to take what I needed and go to my mother's or a friend's place. That was when I felt something shift. Not fear, exactly. More like surprise. I wanted him to fight loudly so I could call him unstable. I wanted him to beg so I could feel chosen. Instead, he stood there steady, holding the door open like this was a simple decision. He asked again, calm, if I was leaving now, or if he needed to call someone to help keep things calm for Mila in the morning. I told myself he was threatening me. I told myself he was cruel. But he did not raise his voice once. He just waited, and the quiet felt heavier than yelling. I did not sleep at my mother's place. I told myself I did not want her advice. I also told myself I did not want her judging face. So I went to Sloane's apartment instead. She lived on the 3rd floor of a building with thin walls and a hallway that always smelled like old food. Sloane opened the door with a grin, like we were starting a sleepover, not a crisis. She asked what Ethan did. I said he kicked me out because of a joke. I said he acted like the tattoo was a crime. Sloane said he was punishing me to control me. I nodded so hard my neck hurt. It felt good to have someone say the words I wanted. I lay on her couch, with a blanket that smelled like perfume. My phone kept lighting up. Ethan texted once. He asked what time I would pick up Mila from school the next day. That was it. No anger, no long message. I read it 3 times and felt insulted. I replied that I did not know, because I did not know if I was even welcome in my own house. He replied that Mila still needed a plan. He asked again for a time. I did not answer right away. I wanted him to ask how I was. He did not. Sloane told me to post something. She said, people believe what they see first. She said Ethan would look like the villain if I acted calm and hurt. I asked what I should say. She said I should not mention the name on the tattoo. She said I should keep it vague, like a woman's body thing. I liked that because it sounded serious and modern. I posted a story with a black screen and white words. I wrote that I was staying somewhere safe and that I was shocked by how far some men will go to punish a woman for being herself. I did not say Ethan's name, but everyone knew. In minutes, hearts and replies came in. Some girls from high school wrote that I was strong. A cousin wrote that I should call the police. That made me laugh because Ethan did nothing illegal, but I did not correct her. I let it sit there like a spark. The next morning, I went to the house early while Ethan took Mila to school. I used my key. The kitchen looked the same, but I felt like a guest. My bag was still by the door where Ethan placed it. Not thrown, not ripped, just waiting. That annoyed me more than mess would have. I went upstairs to shower and change for work. I tried to act normal, like I was choosing this. I checked Ethan's side of the bathroom counter and saw his toothbrush move to a different cup. 2 cups, 2 sides. It looked planned, not emotional. I told myself he was trying to scare me with order. I heard his printer in the office for a second, then it stopped. When I passed the door, I smelled a little warm toner smell, like paper just came out. I did not see anything printed. I told myself it was just work. Ethan had been doing extra estimates lately. Still, my stomach tightened, and I hated that I could not name why. At the dental office, I walked in like I owned the place. I wore long sleeves to hide the bandage. Nina was at the coffee station and looked too excited. She asked how my night was. I said Ethan overreacted and sent me away. Nina asked if it was really just a joke tattoo. I said yes. She asked what the name was. I smiled and said it was nothing, just an old nickname. Nina said she saw Sloane's story and asked if I was okay. I said I was fine, and I said Ethan was acting like a prison guard. During the morning rush, I kept glancing at my phone under the desk. Logan messaged again. He asked if I was okay. I told him Ethan kicked me out and made a big scene. Logan said Ethan sounded insecure. He said I deserved a man who did not police my skin. I told myself Logan understood me better. I also told myself this was not cheating, because Ethan ended it first. That was how I made it clean in my head. Around noon, my manager asked me to step into the break room. She asked if things at home were affecting my work. I said no, and I said my husband was just being dramatic. She asked if I was safe. I said yes, and I said Ethan was not violent, just controlling. I watched her face change when I said the word controlling. She asked if I needed time off. I said no, because I did not want anyone thinking I was unstable. I needed to look like the adult. After work, I went to pick up Mila. The school pickup line was full of cars and tired parents. It was a place where rumors spread faster than illness. I saw 2 moms glance at my sleeve. I imagined they knew. I imagined they were on my side. I also imagined they were judging me. Both ideas made me angry. When Mila climbed into my car, she asked why Daddy was sad. I told her Daddy was stressed. She asked why I was not sleeping at home. I said Daddy needed space, and I said grown-ups sometimes take breaks. She asked if it was her fault. I told her no, and I forced my voice to stay soft. I told myself that counted as good parenting. At a red light, my phone buzzed again. It was Ethan. He asked if Mila ate a snack at school. I said yes. He asked if she had homework. I said I would check. He did not ask where I was staying. He did not ask if I was sorry. He acted like I was a coworker. When we got back to the house, Ethan's truck was already in the driveway. He did not come out right away. Mila ran inside first. I followed slower. In the hallway, Ethan stood near the stairs. He looked calm, but his eyes were tired. He asked how Mila's day was. I told him it was fine. He asked if I planned to stay the night. I said I was thinking about it. He said I needed to decide because Mila needed one stable plan, not guessing. I told him he was acting cold. He said he was trying to keep things clear. I said clarity was just another word for control. He did not reply to that. He looked down at his phone when it lit up. For a second, I saw his screen. There was a reminder on his calendar. It said, "Meeting, personal." No name, no place. Just that. He noticed my eyes and turned the screen away. He asked me again, in the same flat, calm voice, if I was staying or leaving. I felt my pride rise like a wall. I said I would leave, because I refused to be managed. Ethan nodded once. He did not argue. He just stepped aside so I could walk out, like he was making a clean lane for my choice. That was when I understood something I did not want to understand. Ethan was not chasing me. He was arranging me. By the time Sunday came, I had told my story so many times that it started to feel true. I said Ethan threw me out for a harmless joke. I said he was cold and controlling. I did not mention the name on my skin. I did not mention the heart. I did not mention that I liked the way Logan's messages made my chest feel warm. My mom, Janice, insisted on a family dinner. She said it was time to handle this like adults. What she meant was that she wanted an audience. She booked a long table at a family restaurant that always smelled like butter and grilled onions. She said a public place would keep Ethan from acting up. That made me laugh, because Ethan was the last person to act up. Still, I let her talk like he was dangerous. It kept my side clean. I arrived first with Taryn. She looked at my sleeve and asked if I was really keeping it. I said yes, because it was my body. She said she understood that, but she also said I was making things worse. I asked why she was suddenly a counselor. She said she was just tired. I told her she was being dramatic, like Ethan. When Ethan walked in with Mila, the room changed. Denise was with him and Caleb came too. Ethan did not scan the room like a fighter. He walked like a man going to a meeting. Mila ran to me and I hugged her tight. I needed that moment to look perfect. I wanted everyone to see I was still the center. Janice started right away. She asked Ethan why he kicked me out. Ethan said he asked me to leave for the night because he would not live under disrespect. Janice asked what disrespect could possibly mean over a tattoo. Ethan said it was not a random tattoo, and he said it was not funny. I jumped in and said it was a joke, and he knew it. Ethan looked at me and asked whose name it was. I said it was from my past and it meant nothing. Caleb's eyes narrowed like he already knew the answer. Rick tried to soften it. He asked if we could focus on Mila. Denise agreed and said Mila needed routine. Janice said Ethan was hiding behind the child. Denise said she was not arguing, she was stating a priority. Janice asked why Ethan was acting like a robot. Ethan said he was staying calm on purpose. I felt heat in my face when he said that. It made my shouting look childish, even though I was not shouting. Not yet. Mila ate her fries quietly. She watched our faces like she was reading a book in a language she did not know. At one point, she asked if we were going home together. I said we would see. Ethan said we would not be doing that tonight. I wanted to pinch him under the table for that, but I smiled instead. I said he was being stubborn. He said he was being clear. Janice asked Ethan if he thought I was a bad wife. Ethan said he thought I had been cruel lately. I laughed and said he was playing victim. Ethan said he did not need to play anything. He said my friends filmed him and mocked him, and he said I let it happen. I said it was just social media. I said everyone jokes online. I said if he was confident, he would not care. Denise asked me if I would remove the tattoo. I asked her why she thought she could tell me what to do. Denise said she was not telling, she was asking what I planned to do to repair trust. I said trust was not that fragile. Ethan said his trust was. Then he looked at Mila and asked if she wanted dessert. It was like he put a lid on the pot before it boiled. That control made me furious. After dinner, I left early with Mila because I wanted the last word. In the parking lot, Janice walked beside me and said Ethan was trying to punish me. She said I should not let him. She said I should show the tattoo in public and make him look small. I said I did not need to do anything. Then I did it anyway, just quieter. On Monday after work, I stopped at the supermarket with Mila. I wanted normal pictures in my head, like proof that my life was fine. In the checkout line, a woman from Mila's school smiled too wide and asked how I was doing. I said I was great. She said she saw my post and hoped I was safe. I said I was safe, and I said Ethan was just having a control moment. The woman nodded like she understood. She did not ask more, but her eyes slid to my sleeve. I pulled it down further. In the parking lot, I saw a notification pop up on my phone. Someone I barely knew had messaged me a screenshot of a video. It was from the rooftop bar. It showed me laughing and pointing at my bandage. In the corner, Ethan's face was visible from an older clip Nina took weeks ago at a different party, when he looked tired and out of place. The person who posted it had stacked the clips together like a joke. There was a caption calling him weak. My stomach flipped. I told myself it was not my fault because I did not post that edit. I told myself people make content. I told myself Ethan should not care. But I also knew my friends fed it. I knew I fed it. I stared at the screenshot while Mila buckled her seatbelt. She asked if we were going home. I said yes, but my voice sounded sharp, and she went quiet. That evening, I met Logan at the Riverside Promenade. I told myself I needed someone to listen. The air smelled like cold water and street food. People walked past with dogs and paper cups. It looked safe, so I let myself pretend it was innocent. Logan asked what happened. I said Ethan kicked me out and made me look like a villain for a joke. Logan said Ethan sounded insecure. He asked if Ethan was trying to control me. I said yes. Logan said I deserved to be seen and wanted. I said Ethan had not made me feel wanted in a long time. Logan said I could always talk to him. He said I was still the same girl from before. I liked hearing that because it erased responsibility. If I was the same, then nothing I did was new or wrong. Logan asked if Ethan knew the name on the tattoo. I said Ethan saw it. Logan smiled like it was a trophy. Then he tried to hide it. He asked if Ethan yelled. I said no, and I hated admitting that. Logan said silence could be worse than yelling. I said Ethan used silence as a weapon. I said he was punishing me by acting calm. Logan said calm men could be scary. I nodded, even though Ethan had never been scary. I needed that story to stay on track. When I got back to Sloane's place, Sloane texted me fast. She said the edited video was spreading and people were tagging Ethan. She asked if she should delete her posts. I said no at first because I did not want to look guilty. Then I pictured Mila's small face at dinner. I pictured Ethan's calm voice. I pictured Denise watching me without blinking. My confidence wobbled. I opened the app and searched Ethan's name. I saw the tag. I saw laughing comments from people who did not know us. I saw my own circle in the likes. I told myself Ethan brought this on himself by overreacting. Then I saw a single comment from someone I did not recognize. It said Ethan deserved better. I stared at that line for a long time, and for the first time, I wondered if I had pushed the joke so far that it stopped being a joke at all. Then I shut the phone off, because I did not want to hear that answer. Monday turned into Tuesday, and my story started to slip in small places. At work, the same women who first said I was brave now asked careful questions. They did not ask because they cared. They asked because gossip needed details to stay alive. In the open plan office at the dental clinic, I tried to act bright. I called patients back. I fixed insurance notes. I smiled until my cheeks felt stiff. Nina leaned over my desk and asked if Ethan was still ignoring me. I said he was using silence to punish me. Nina asked if he yelled at all. I said no, and I tried to make that sound worse than yelling. I said he acted like a robot to make me feel crazy. Nina said that sounded scary. I nodded, because I liked that word when it pointed away from me. Later, my manager asked me into the small HR room near the supply closet. She said she saw my public post and wanted to check in. She asked if I felt safe at home. I said yes, but I also said Ethan was controlling. She asked what I meant by controlling. I said he monitored my time and made rules. That was not true in a literal way. Ethan asked for plans and respect, but I said the word rules again because it made my choices look like reactions. My manager asked if I needed schedule changes because of stress. I said no. I could not afford to look messy. If I looked messy, then people might look closer at the tattoo. They might ask whose name it was and why a heart was there. I told myself I had to stay ahead of the questions. On Wednesday, I went to the playground with Mila after school. The weather was cold and bright. Parents stood in groups, holding coffee cups and watching their kids. I sat on a bench and tried to look like a normal mum. Mila climbed and slid, but she did not laugh as much as usual. She kept looking back at me like she was checking if I was still there. When she came back to me, she asked why Daddy did not hug me lately. I said Daddy was upset and needed time. She asked if Daddy still loved her. I said yes and pulled her close. She asked if she had to choose. I told her no, and I forced my voice to stay calm. Then she asked if the tattoo hurt Daddy's feelings. My heart jumped. I asked who told her about the tattoo. She said she saw it when my sleeve moved. She said she saw a heart too. She asked if the heart meant I loved someone else. I told her hearts could mean many things. I told her it was just a silly drawing. I told her Daddy misunderstood. Mila looked at my face like she did not believe me, but she nodded anyway because she wanted the problem to stop. That night I went to my mother's house. Janice greeted me like I was a celebrity walking into a studio. She had snacks out and her phone in her hand already. She asked if Ethan called to apologize. I said no. She rolled her eyes and said he was trying to break me. Taryn was there too, sitting on the edge of the couch. She looked tired. She asked if I was still talking to Logan. I said she was being paranoid. She said she saw Logan's name pop up on my screen at dinner. I said it was none of her business. She said it became everyone's business when I brought it to a restaurant table. I told her she was acting jealous because she had a boring boyfriend. That was mean, but it worked. It made her go quiet. Janice asked if I wanted to end Ethan's act in one move. I asked what she meant. She said Ethan was winning because he looked calm. She said calm men always look right. She said I had to make him react so everyone could see his true face. She suggested I post a clear photo of the tattoo with a caption about bodily freedom. She said people would support me and Ethan would panic. She said panic would expose him. I pretended to think about it. I told Janice I did not want drama. Then I opened my phone and scrolled through my photos. I chose the clearest one from the day the bandage came off. Logan's name was visible, and the small heart sat close like a stamp. My thumb hovered over the post button. For a second, I felt fear, because it was not a joke anymore. Then I remembered the likes, the hearts, the messages calling me strong. I pressed post. Within minutes, Sloane reacted with fire emojis. Nina replied with a crown. People I barely knew wrote that I should never let a man tell me what to do. I sat up straighter. I felt like I was back on top. I told myself the heart was just ink, and Ethan was the one who made it dirty. That was my logic, and I held it like a shield. An hour later, my phone buzzed again and again. Some messages were not supportive. One person asked why I had my ex's name if I was married. Another asked if Ethan knew. I did not reply. I focused on the support messages because they were easier to hold. Ethan did not text about the post. That made me angry. I wanted him to react. I wanted a long message so I could show people proof of his control. Instead, he sent a short text about Mila's dentist appointment next week. He asked if I could take her, since it was at my office. I said yes. Then I asked if he saw my post. He did not answer that part. On Thursday morning, I went back to the house for clean clothes. Ethan was at work, and the place felt colder than usual. I went into the kitchen and saw 2 mugs on opposite counters, not side by side like before. I opened a drawer and noticed it did not slide smoothly, like it had been locked and unlocked. I told myself it was nothing. Then I heard a soft beep from Ethan's phone, which he left on the counter by accident. The screen lit up with a notification that said a file upload was successful. I did not see the file name. I did not touch the phone. I just stared, because it felt like a door closing quietly. Upstairs, I found one of Ethan's spare chargers missing from the bedroom. I checked the closet and saw his suitcase moved closer to the front, like it was ready. On his side of the nightstand, there was a sticky note that said, "Bring forms." No name, no context, just that. I stood there holding my shirt and I felt my stomach twist. Ethan was not posting, he was not shouting, he was not begging, he was doing something else. At school pickup, I saw Denise in the office hallway. She was speaking softly with the secretary. When she saw me, she nodded once, polite. I asked what she was doing there. She said she was confirming pickup details for Mila. I said Ethan did not need to do that because I was her mother. Denise said it was about clarity, not replacing anyone. The secretary handed Denise a printed sheet, then looked at me and said they needed updated contact information from both parents. I asked why. The secretary said it was standard when routines change. I wanted to argue, but I could feel other parents watching. So I smiled tight and said I would send whatever they needed. On the drive away, Mila asked if Daddy was mad forever. I said no, but my voice shook. I kept thinking about that notification and the sticky note. I told myself Ethan was trying to scare me. I told myself he was building a case to control me. Then I remembered something worse. What if he was building a way to live without me? On Friday, I decided I was done being treated like a visitor in my own life. I told myself Ethan was playing a game. I told myself he wanted me to beg so he could feel powerful. I also told myself I would not beg, because I was not the one who broke the marriage. In my head, Ethan broke it first by being cold. I went to the gym after work, not to work out, but to feel seen. I wore a fitted jacket and kept my tattoo just barely covered, like a secret I could control. In the lobby, I checked my phone and saw Logan's name pop up again. He asked if I wanted to talk. I said I was busy. He asked if Ethan was still acting like a saint. I said yes, and I added that Ethan wanted to punish me with silence. Logan replied that silence was a trick. He said I should not let Ethan win. I told myself I hated that word, win, but I did not. It felt honest. This was not about love anymore. It was about who got the last word. When I left the gym, I saw Logan's car in the parking area. He waved like it was normal. I felt a rush of excitement and anger at the same time. He asked if I was okay. I said I was fine. He asked if Ethan knew the tattoo was his name. I said Ethan saw it. Logan smiled and said it was wild. He asked if I regretted it. I said no, because regret would make me small. Logan asked if I was coming back home soon. I said Ethan was blocking it. He said Ethan sounded controlling again. I nodded, even though the real problem was that Ethan was not controlling at all. He was letting go. That scared me more than control. I drove straight to the house after that. I did not text Ethan first. I told myself I did not need permission. When I pulled into the driveway, Ethan's truck was there, pointed toward the street like he might leave at any moment. I noticed that detail and felt offended by it, like the angle of his car was an opinion about me. I walked up to the front door and used my key. It still worked, which made me feel both relieved and insulted. Inside, the air smelled clean, like someone had wiped counters with lemon spray. The house was too quiet. I could hear the fridge hum and the faint sound of the dryer in the garage. Ethan came from the hallway, not rushing. He asked why I was there. I said I lived here. He said we were not doing surprise visits anymore. I said he did not get to set rules. He said he was setting boundaries, not rules. That word made me angry, because it sounded reasonable. I asked where Mila was. He said she was in her room, coloring. I started toward the stairs, and he stepped slightly to the side, not blocking me, but guiding me like a person guiding traffic. He asked what I needed. I said I needed my home back. He asked if I was ready to stop humiliating him. I laughed and said he was humiliating himself by being dramatic. He asked if I would remove the tattoo. I said no, and I said he was obsessed with my body. He said it was not my body he cared about, it was the meaning. I said he was making meaning up like a paranoid person. He said I knew exactly what it meant. I told him he was imagining things. He asked if I was still talking to Logan. I felt my throat tighten, and I used anger to cover it. I asked why he was spying on me. He said he was not spying, he was asking a direct question. I said he was insecure. He said insecurity was not the same as self-respect. That line landed harder than I wanted. I walked upstairs anyway and pulled clothes from the closet. My hands shook, so I moved fast. I told myself it was because I was angry, not nervous. In the bedroom, I noticed Ethan's side looked stripped down. The second mug on the counter was still there, separate. His drawer was shut tight. When I opened it, it did not open all the way, like something inside was wedged. I heard a soft click, like a lock had been used recently. On the nightstand, I saw a different key on Ethan's ring, a plain metal one. I did not remember it. I told myself it was for work. I told myself it was nothing. Still, my eyes kept going back to it like it was a warning. When I came back downstairs, Ethan was in the kitchen, packing a small bag for Mila. He moved in neat steps, not rushed. He asked if I planned to stay the night. I said I might, because I refused to be pushed out. He said if I stayed, we needed clear rules for communication. I laughed and said he was trying to turn our marriage into a contract. He said I already did that when I turned him into a joke online. I said my post was about my feelings. He asked why the post showed Logan's name with a heart. I said people were twisting it. He said nobody twisted the letters. They were clear. I said he was acting like the victim. He said he was not acting. Mila came into the kitchen with crayons on her fingers. She looked from me to Ethan. She asked if we were eating together. I said yes, trying to sound warm. Ethan said Mila could eat with him now, and I could eat later. I felt my face burn at the calm way he split the moment. After Mila went back to her room, Ethan asked me to follow the school schedule exactly next week. I asked why. He said the school office needed written plans, and he wanted to avoid confusion. I said he was trying to build a case against me. He did not deny it the way I expected. He just said he was trying to protect Mila from chaos. I drove to the school office the next morning to fix what I thought Ethan had started. The hallway smelled like paper and hand soap. The secretary smiled politely and asked if I was there about the contact update. I said yes. She said both parents already submitted forms for pickup and emergency contacts. I asked how that was possible. She said Ethan submitted his, and they were waiting on mine. I asked if Ethan changed anything. She said she could not discuss another parent's paperwork with me. That sentence made me feel powerless in a way I hated. I walked out with my cheeks hot. In the parking lot, I called Ethan. He answered on the second ring. I asked what he was doing. He said he was making sure Mila had safe routines. I asked if he was trying to take Mila from me. He said no, and he said I could stop jumping to extremes. I told him he was planning something. He said he was planning properly. I went back to the house that evening and demanded we talk. Ethan asked what I wanted to talk about. I said I wanted things back to normal. He asked what normal meant to me. I said normal meant I could make jokes and he could stop policing me. He said normal used to mean respect, and he did not see respect now. I tried a softer voice. I said I missed him. He looked at me like he was tired of guessing. He asked if I missed him, or if I missed having someone to manage the boring parts of life. I said that was unfair. He said it was honest. I told him he was punishing me. He said consequences were not punishment. I told him he was being cruel. He said he was being careful. I asked what that meant. He took a slow breath and said he was done reacting to performance. He said he would handle everything properly. I thought Ethan would talk to me first. I thought he would do one last long speech. I thought he would ask me to take the tattoo off, and prove I chose him. That was the movie version in my head. Real life did not give me that. On Monday morning, Ethan texted that the next Mila exchange would be at the public building downtown, in the lobby, at 4:30. He said it was for clarity. I replied that he was being dramatic. He replied that it was a neutral place. I told Sloan he was trying to scare me with official vibes. Sloan said he was probably bluffing. I wanted to believe that. At work, I kept checking the time. My tattoo itched under my sleeve like it had its own voice. Nina asked why I looked pale. I said Ethan was trying to control the schedule again. Nina asked if I was okay. I said I was fine, and I said men do this to make women feel small. Nina nodded like she agreed, but she did not look fully sure. At 4:20, I drove downtown with Mila in the back seat. She held her backpack and stared out the window. She asked if Daddy was coming. I said yes. She asked if we were going home after. I said we would see. I hated how often I said that now. The lobby smelled like cleaning spray and wet coats. People sat on benches, looking at phones. A security guard stood near a metal detector. It was not scary, but it made everything feel serious. Ethan was already there with Mila's favorite sweater folded over his arm. He stood near a pillar, calm, like he was waiting for a bus. He asked how Mila's day was. I said it was fine. He asked if she ate her snack. I said yes. He did not look at my arm, but I felt like the tattoo was shining through the fabric anyway. Mila ran to him and showed him a drawing. He said it was beautiful. He thanked her for bringing it. His voice stayed steady, like this was a normal day. I tried to pull him aside. I asked if he really needed to do handoffs like this. He said it was better for everyone. I asked why he could not just talk to me like a husband. He said he was talking to me like a parent and a responsible person. I told him he was punishing me. He said consequences were not punishment. Then a woman walked up with a folder in her hand. She looked at me, then at a small note, and asked if I was Melisande Carter. I said yes. She asked me to confirm my address. I hesitated, and Ethan did not move. The woman said she had legal documents for me. She said she needed me to accept service. For a second, my brain tried to make it a prank. I looked at Ethan, waiting for a smirk. He had no smirk. He just watched Mila, who was now holding his sleeve. I told the woman I did not want anything. She said she could leave it at my feet if I refused, and she would still note that I was served. I told her she was embarrassing me. She said she was doing her job. I felt people watching. I hated that part most. I wanted this to be private because public means real. I took the papers. My hands shook, but I held the folder tight like I was strong. I told Ethan he did not have to do this. He said he did. I told him he was trying to ruin my life over a tattoo. He said it was not only the tattoo. He said it was the pattern. I said he was making patterns out of jokes. He said he was making records out of facts. I opened the first page and saw the words I did not want to see. It was a petition for divorce. It said our names like we were strangers. It said the date. It said there were temporary orders attached. I turned to the next pages too fast, like speed would change what they said. The temporary orders were clear and cold. They gave Ethan temporary exclusive use of the home. They set a temporary parenting schedule for Mila. They said handoffs would be in public places for now. They said communication would be limited to parenting topics and done in writing. They said I could not post about Ethan or the case online, and I could not involve third parties to contact him. My throat went dry. I looked at Ethan and asked if he really believed I was a danger. He said he was not calling me dangerous. He said he was calling the situation unstable. I said he made it unstable by kicking me out. He said I made it unstable by turning our home into a stage. I flipped to a section that listed exhibits. I did not see everything inside, but I saw enough labels to understand. There were screenshots of my posts. There were timestamps. There were school office notes about pickup confirmations. There There were calendar entries. There were payment logs tied to the tattoo shop and nights out. There were message threads listed by date ranges. It was not messy. It looked organized, like Ethan built it slowly while I talked. I told him he was acting like a lawyer. He said he did not need to act like anything. He said he got advice and followed it. He said he would do everything properly. Mila tugged his sleeve and asked if she could go now. Ethan told her yes. He asked me if I wanted to say goodbye for the day. I knelt and hugged her. She hugged me back, but kept her eyes on Ethan, like she was afraid to miss a step. When I stood up, I tried one last move. I said we could fix this if he stopped making me the villain. He said he did not need to make me anything. He said the record would speak. He adjusted Mila's backpack straps, thanked me for bringing her on time, and turned to leave. I looked down again and saw the line about my move-out time for the rest of my items, with a date and a window of hours, like my marriage had become a delivery slot. I looked up to argue, but Ethan and Mila were already walking toward the exit, and he did not look back.